Welcome into the Players Club, presented by Pepsi. The Players Club is presented by Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Washington Commanders. And in part by Johnson Kendall Johnson, the official insurance broker and risk management partner of the Washington Commanders, where our passion is your protection. Now for your hosts, Santana Moss and Sean Springs.
Welcome back to the Players Club. It's your host with the most, 8 to the 9. Here with my usual suspect, Bluefoot. We got our guy, man. We always love to have Fred.
We got him back, man.
Filling in for London.
Frank.
Second week in a row. Fellas, we ain't got that much time. It's a short week. You know what I mean? We go to Arizona. You know how them trips is in Arizona.
Yeah. Got to be focused. Got to be focused, Tanner, going to
Arizona. We gonna dive right into this thing with drive time. It's time for Drive Time, presented by Eastern Automotive Group. Any car, any way, for everyone, since 1988. Our young rookie phenom, I'm going to say phenom because that's what he's
what he is. He's a franchise quarterback.
Went up against another young rookie phenom, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, true. Played against his daddy.
What was it like, man? You know, we was all rookies. You know, what was it like facing one of your counterparts, man? One of the guys that came in your draft class, and you know. Who was that one guy, or who was those guys you had to face against that rookie season?
First game of the season, we playing the then San Diego Superchargers. All right, LT. So there's me and LaDainian, you know, the same Playboy American group. Yeah, and. Actually, they playing on the same field that the Padres play on. Right. So that was my first time really playing on a baseball field. It was horrible. But I remember when the game first started, and you know, your rookie year, you still kind of starstruck. Yeah. So I'm watching Doug Flutie warm up, and I'm like, damn, am I finna get burnt by Doug Flutie? So I'm asking myself this. Then I look over there at LT, so, you know, we giving each other head nod. We dapping each other up. So also, we kind of challenged each other. I'm like, I bet I have a turnover before you get a touchdown. Right. I bet you don't. We go right into the game, and it's like 4 plays into the game, and they try to beat me on a deep post with Curtis Conway. And I intercept the ball. I get my first interception. Nice. So after I get my first interception, I run right to the sideline, and I do this. He know what I'm talking about. So I never lie, though. I was more, because I never sit down that game. Yeah. I like when the offense was on the field, I stood up, I watched the game, and I could have sworn it was like 3 Junior Seau's out there. He made and I was starstruck by Junior Seau. Yeah. He made so many plays because they would build a defense around letting him do whatever he wanted to do. And we lost that first game, but I ended up with NFC Defensive Player of the Week because I got an interception, 7 tackles, and I got a forced fumble and a fumble recovery. You started as a rookie? I started as a rookie first. I'm a first-day starter, man. Now, I know how you feel.
No, I'm just saying. That was big time because y'all had some DBs on that roster. Talk about that. It was like D. Green, Deion was like.
I remember the first time I walked in that room. All right. See, I had already been talking to Prime in college, so I had a relationship with him. Right. And people don't understand, for my first couple of weeks, I wore 23. Never to play in it, but I wore it. And I walked in the meeting room, and Prime was sitting in his recliner. He got a recliner. D. Green was sitting right there, and Champ. Then I I walked back out of there, and I walked back to Martin Schottenheimer. That was my coach who drafted me. I was like, why did you draft me? He like, boy, go in that meeting room. Everything gonna be all right. Because now I'm sitting here with my idol. I'm sitting with the best Washington cornerback of all time, and I'm sitting with a young future Hall of Famer phenom in Champ Bailey. Right. So it was sobering.
Yeah, probably.
It was sobering. Yeah. So I was like, do every DB room look like this?
Yeah, that's special.
I earned this, but I earned it through practice. Yeah. And by the time that first game came, I thought I was ready. And I started out pretty fast as a rookie. So that's the game that I understood. Them 4 quarters let me understand, you can play on this level. You do belong with the rest of these guys.
That's good.
What about you?
I think for me, you know, in my draft class, a rookie, a big name, wasn't necessarily a receiver, but y'all remember the name Tony Gonzalez?
Of course we do.
Yeah, of course you remember TG.
Don't look in his eyes.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Knock it off. But anyway, TG and I and another guy, that was in the class. 2 offensive guys in that class was a guy named Ray Caruth, and the other one was Tony Gonzalez. But Tony Gonzalez and I got drafted to the AFC West at the time. Mm-hmm. I was at Seattle. He was at Kansas City. And we had developed a rapport and a friendship and stuff. But I remember the first time playing Kansas City, and they had
Will Shields, that offensive line.
They had a mob. They had Derek Thomas, Dale Carter, James Hasey, Neil Smith.
Yeah, the Dale Carter.
The team was loaded, right?
Yeah.
Lil McMillan was the nickel back. They were loaded. And Marty was the coach of that team. Yep. And Tony was on that team. And so that was for me. But my rookie year, man, like that was the one rookie receiver or something I could think going against. But my rookie year, we opened up with the Jets. And I had loudmouth Keyshawn Johnson. You know, who was the first pick the year before. Yeah. I had to hear his mouth the whole time, man. Talk about, you can't check me. You know,
was Benny Testaverde his quarterback?
Benny was the quarterback. Keyshawn had a pretty good game. I think he had like 6 catches that game. But, so, you know, it's exciting as a rookie. You get to see somebody in your draft class, though. TG was the big one for me.
How many picks did you end up with your rookie year?
I don't know. I think I might have 1.
Oh, that's it? That's terrible.
You had, what, 4?
I had 5.
How many have your second year?
One of Patty's second year.
How many have your second year?
Want to toot his horn a little bit.
5.
Well, my rookie year wasn't like none of you guys.
I still have more than you the first 3
years.
You know, unfortunately, my rookie year, I was sitting on the sideline eating sunflower seeds with a ball cap on.
He was injured.
I was injured. I got hurt before I even played the preseason game. So tore my knee up or whatever. I really didn't tear it up that bad. I had a lateral meniscus tear.
Mm-hmm. But put us in the mind of somebody drafted high like that, and now you go from playing to all I can do is watch.
It was devastating. I think you got to think about it. I was just a guy that was removed from years prior to that in college, broke my jaw before the season, and told him to put a plate in and let me go play. You know, miss one game. So to finally, you know, I walked in the college in the back, you know, taking the back door. Like I had to go in as a walk-on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To come out of that situation and be a first-round draft pick to the Big Apple and not be able to play like these fans are waiting on, it was devastating.
And the New York media was crazy.
New York media was killing me. Mentally, it was hard for me. But, you know, I can tell you one thing, man. It built more character in me. It made me stronger. It made me understand, sit back and have to see things from a different perspective. I think one of the things I took out of that, not having that time to play, when I finally did come in and play, I was not even a shell of myself. So it was like a waste of time. It was like I literally came in with the last four regular season games. And they put me out there and they want to see something special. And I'm like, boy, look, take me back home. I'm not ready for this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, you know, in a nutshell, when I finally got a chance to the next year, if that's like my rookie season, my second year, I remember playing against LaDainian. To tell you the truth, I ran a punt back. I went up there and played them in San Diego. Ran a punt back for a touchdown. Nate Clemens was in my division. He played. So I always had to go against him. So it was always fun, man.
Shout out to the OSU great corners.
Speaking of those guys and talking about Jaden going up against, you know, Marvin Harrison. We playing in Arizona. What are some of y'all memories of playing?
Can I talk about that? Can I talk about that? Thinking about that, because there's another rookie that we drafted here in Washington who's very familiar with Marvin Harrison. Played against him when he was at Michigan. Mike Sinistro.
Oh, Sinistro.
Yeah, he did.
So that you remember, you know, so that was a little rub there, because he was the guy in the Ohio State Michigan game talking about Marvin Harrison and all that. So it's gonna be
he handled business,
and he handled business.
Didn't they hurt in that game or something like that?
No, he got hurt in the Georgia game, in the playoff game. But he was the one rallying the Michigan troops, getting after him. So it's gonna be interesting because Marvin.
He introduced himself to the league last weekend.
Yes,
right. That's what he did. He introduced himself to the league, and you know them youngsters gonna have these games where they pop out and show that they belong. I think Mike Sanders still will be okay.
Yeah,
he better be.
Yeah, he'll be.
We need him. Yeah, we need him.
Tell me something about the Cardinals y'all remember.
Oh, I remember David Boston.
Shout out to the Ohio State great.
The biggest human being I have ever seen to call himself a wideout. I'll never forget him and LeVar was talking to each other before the game, and they were standing right beside each other. So I peeked over there, and they was the same side. I was like, I'm about to throw up in my mouth. Like, what do the fans want me to do with this mammoth of a man? So then as I get closer to him, I'm like, because I don't let a game go by without talking a little pregame trash.
Yeah, what'd you say to him?
So I started to walk up to him. Now, you know how guys come out there with the cutoff shirts. Yeah. As I get close to him, I'm like, this dude got a person growing out his back. Like, he's huge, and he turns around, and he has this eye piercing, and he got these red contacts on. So I like, this guy's an idiot. Yeah. Like, something wrong with him. I better not say nothing to him till this game starts. So we get in the game, right? The first play is a run play. And I'm really like, I'm on the same side with Darryl Green. Darryl is in the nickel. And he just grabs Darryl and just literally just body slams. And I was like, you can't do that to no old man. He said, I'm going to do it to a young man next play. I was like, man, this dude is...
He's out there bullying y'all.
This dude was out here like Devo. I was like, this is unbelievable. It was crazy, man. Oh, like, them are my early Cardinals. And I got a chance to watch the great Anelius Williams.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir. So that's one thing I was very good at. I'm going to study the guys on the other side. Yeah. And that day, Anelius picked the ball off and ran into the house.
Wow. Yeah.
All right. So I studied him too, but I done had nightmares of David Boston, just a dark room and two red eyes. Like, this dude is not for the faint of heart.
Hey, give a shout out to my boy David Boston, Humble, Texas, Ohio State great, my man.
How about
David.
yourself, man?
Hey, man. But thinking about the Cardinals, a lot of people, they had 3 big receivers. They had Frank and I'm trying to think of the other guys. It was like... But all their receivers were big. And Jake the Snake had won a job. So Jake Plummer won the quarterback job. My memory about the Cardinals, man, every single time you play in Arizona is about 100 degrees out there, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know in AZ.
It was like, man, you was like
brutally hot.
Man, so hot out there. Everybody's like, wow, it's crazy. But a memory that came into mind for me is I earned a lot of respect for Clinton Portis when we went out there, and I forget what year it was, but Clinton,
5, I think.
Man, he put the team on his back. I mean, Agent Wilson, them boys was hitting Clinton.
Yeah,
and he was out
Wilson,
there.
Another one of our classmates.
Yeah, and they was hitting Clinton, and Clinton was carrying total. He put the team on his back, and that's the infamous game. Where, shout out to my boy London Fletcher, thinking he was hurdling and surfing on people's back out there.
That was the game.
That was the London. That was the London Fletcher game. It was a hurdle surf. I don't know what it was.
He your back into the end.
Yeah, like, what are you doing?
So he didn't have to die, but he did.
Yeah, but that was the game. It was hot.
Yeah.
We went in there, a tough physical football game. Always a tough physical team, and not good at times, but good physical.
I had some good memories.
They're new Arizona now, though.
Yeah, they're totally different Arizona.
Yeah,
I had a couple of memories. I think the one memory that stand out the most to me in AZ, my first year here, we went out there, and I remember, just coming off a game before I had a good game, and going to that game, a ball got, I guess, batted down, and it hit me at the end, and my finger was like this. I'm walking back to the huddle, and I'm like, oh, and I felt it, and I just snapped it back in place.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
The next play, I catch a bomb for about like 30 yards down the seam. And I think it was Taylor Jacobs. He looked at me like, bro,
TJ,
you just snap your finger back in there and caught the ball.
Yeah, that's what you do, man.
We got to go.
Snap it in.
You know what I mean? So I was so busy on just trying to be accountable for, my actions and just making sure I held myself accountable and doing my job. So I won't even worry about it.
And by the way, I did get a chance to watch Pat Tillman, rest in peace.
Oh, yeah.
I watched him play for the Cardinals, and that was an experience in itself.
Shout out to Larry Fitzgerald.
No, I was going to ask you. No, we ain't going to shut him out. I'm going to ask you about him. Yeah. What was it like playing against him and Anquan Bolden? Them guys
First of all, I'm going to tell you.
They were serious up there.
Because me and Antoine Winfield had to really go to battle with these dudes one time, and it was inside on turf. And I remember Anquan Bolden running like a 5-yard slant, and I tackled him. No, I tried to tackle him, and I slid all around down his big old leg. And the one thing I can say about Fitzgerald, the ball, he ain't letting the ball come to you.
Right.
If you think you're just gonna run beside him and pick the ball off, no. He's going to go get it at the most highest point. And the funny thing about it is, he used to be a ball boy for the Minnesota Vikings.
Right.
So his dad is a beat reporter for the Vikings. So I got time to trying to really know his history and his upbringing. So then I wasn't shocked that he was NFL Man of the Year, because he just that type of dude. Yeah, but I had to ask myself, if I had to describe describe what's the best part of his game, I got to say high point balls. He ain't going to give you a chance to pick it off. And contested balls is what he do. Yeah. He wasn't really a blazer, but contested balls, he coming down with that 50-50 ball.
Does Marvin Harrison,
give you that?
Does he pass Fitzgerald? Or could he be the next Fitzgerald?
I think he can because he has a different gear.
He got those traits,
He got a different gear. They got the same body build.
Yeah, but Marvin a little bigger than him. He's about 2 inches taller.
And that says it all anyway. But I think Marvin has another gear that he can kick in. This don't think can separate him. Now, he going to have to prove to me that he can make contested catches the way that Fitz could. And the one thing I can say about Fitzgerald, when anytime Arizona needed to play, he was the guy. That Super Bowl, he almost broke that Super Bowl open and gave the Cardinals their first Super Bowl.
Yeah. Right. I mean, you look at him, and speaking of him, his ball boy days, in Minnesota, one of the guys that he kind of, learned a lot from, or who took a liking to him, was Chris Carter. Yep. And so to see his ball handling skills and know what Chris Carter brought to the game, it was almost like, damn, so did Chris Carter really show you how to catch it? Because it's like you do the same thing, you just have different, traits or whatever. So, man, he was special. As a receiver, looking at other receivers, me, I'm going to call a spade, man. He was special. I mean, and he was in the Big East, so I got a chance to see him right after I left, college, play against our guys in the Big East, and he was one of those guys. He won the Biletnikoff, I believe, one year. Yeah. He was dominating.
First of all, we got to say this. Nobody ever talked about Pittsburgh University as a home of the GOATs. Yeah. All right. They have
Tony Dorsett,
Dan Marino, Mean Joe Green,
Shady
McCoy.
They got Larry Fitzgerald and they got Darrell Reeves. Wait
a minute. You're forgetting the monster himself.
Who?
The D tackle himself.
Oh, Aaron Donald. I'm about to say what? So when people talk about Pitt, they don't talk about it like a football factory, but Penn State, y'all get a little bit too much love. Right. It's Pitt who putting the players out there.
Who was the top 3 receivers you guys faced?
Oh, in our career?
Yeah. Well, I guess you can say career or you can, pull them from wherever.
I guess it's all right. And when y'all say the top guys,
you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful how you preface this, because there's some guys who are gonna watch this
and want to talk trash
and talk to you trash.
But it's not even necessarily about, because I get
talking about top 3 in Arizona.
It's just whoever y'all want to say. You want to say Arizona, you can say in there. You can bring them into the equation, but whoever you feel like that guy gave me problems. All
right. Tall receivers did not give me problems.
Man, who's your top 3, man? Give me your list first and then tell me why.
Shut up, man.
Come on.
Let me talk. At the end of the day.
You scared?
At the end, I'm trying to see. All right, because Randy, I had good games against Randy, pretty good games against T.O. So the normal suspects ain't going to be the suspects that you think.
Not just because you had good games. You might have had a good game. This was nice, though. That was nice.
I always thought Plex was nice. All right, Plexico Burris. You ain't things like me and Plex. I had some battles.
That's because Plex wild and you wild.
No, it's because Plex is 6'6", 240 pounds, and he can smooth and he can move. Then you got Steve Smith. I know y'all wanted me to bring him up.
Well, I didn't want you to bring him up. I thought you to say Chad before Steve.
No, Steve probably gave me more problems.
Steve gave me more problems than Chad did. I knew how to kind of handle Chad. And then I would go Reggie Wayne, because Reggie...
You sound like physical guys. Sound like you don't like physical guys.
Reggie was hard for me to study because he had no glaring... if I'm studying Santana, his glaring thing is speed.
Wait a minute, though. Wait a minute, though. Let's we play in Arizona. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a big name, and you're not even naming his daddy, and you named Reggie before him?
I ain't got to name his daddy. His dad ain't give me no problem. Last time I checked his daddy, I picked the ball off.
So you going off the top 3 receivers that gave you problems?
I'm saying my 3.
His 3.
You can call his granddaddy Mr. Harrison Sr. Pick him off too. You tell us your 3.
Who is yours, man?
Hey, man, my 3, not that they gave me problems, but they were good. I would say Randy has to be in the discussion. Randy Moss. I'm gonna tell you a guy that a lot of people don't talk about, but he did give me problems. And Jimmy Smith for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That's how I learned how to play corner, through Jimmy Smith.
I don't think people really understand.
I always talk about him being, slighted a little bit.
When Mark Brunell was in his youth,
slighted.
The things they used to do in Jacksonville.
Jimmy Smith. Randy is Randy, then there's Jimmy Smith, and that might surprise some people.
It should.
And I'm going to give up, I have to because I think it's deserving of it. I probably played against him the most. He's probably my arch nemesis. No, whatever. He's probably my arch nemesis. I probably would say, I would have to give a shout out to my man T.O.
Okay.
We had a little incident, the Sharpie incident. We had a little Sharpie incident, We talked about that.
You was part of Sharpie clause.
I should have picked it off.
Never let you forget that.
Never let me forget that.
I should have brought Sharpie to work right now.
It happened.
So with all that said, give me top 3 receivers you faced going up against Arizona.
Oh, that's easy.
Go ahead.
Larry Fitzgerald, Anquan Bolden, David Boston.
Okay.
Mine was
Frank Sanders.
Frank was nice. There was more though. Frank was nice though. It would have to be Larry, Boss, Larry, Boss, and Anquan. Let me tell you about Anquan though. A lot of things that people don't get. Anquan, first of all, was a much better athlete than people knew. His body didn't look like his body looked like he had
the body of a
Debo Samuels. He was Debo Samuels
before Debo.
Yeah, he had the big.
But he's faster than Debo.
But you talking about dude had catch radius. He could catch any ball around him.
Body
tough,
control.
Man. And my thing was, I felt like I can impose my will on almost every receiver I faced, and probably did during my career.
Stop.
I'm talking about
Harold
Lips.
So I tried to bully Antoine Bolden. He wasn't going for it, man.
That's a Florida boy, man.
I was a 220-pound cornerback.
I was 200, 197 for the most part.
You ain't been
but anyway,
third grade.
Yeah, but anyway, so I tried to bully this dude, and man, this dude's physical toughness was crazy.
Nails, man.
Tough as nails, man.
Yeah.
Santana was hard for me.
Going against
fast receiver.
You ain't got to tell them people about all the stuff they know.
And I'm the arrogant one.
I gotta give you a little bit of your own medicine, man. All right, talking about those receivers.
Steve Smith 3 for 13 last time. Three catches for 39 yards.
You ain't gonna have to.
Oh, you?
Yeah, he's terrible.
No, last time I checked T.O., he had as many catches as a dead man.
No, the same thing. That's what I'm saying. I'm not, but I just want to throw that out there just in case Steve sees this.
So think about those guys. Bring up different quarterbacks they had. One in particular, Kurt Warner.
Yep.
You ever faced Kurt up there?
Oh, I faced Kirk in Arizona. I faced Kirk in New York.
How was he in Arizona?
I faced him in St. Louis. In Arizona.
Because he took him to the Super Bowl, I think it was.
Yeah, he took him to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like he reinvigorated that team. He gave them everything that they were missing. All they was missing was a trigger man and a leader.
Great football story too. Great football movie.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Great football movie too. Kurt
Talking about the Kurt
Warner story. Yep.
I can't wait till they do the Fred Smoot story. But at the end of the day, the one thing I can say about Kurt, his touch.
Yeah.
He might didn't have the biggest but he letting that ball go way before them receivers coming out of their cuts.
Smart.
He throwing to a spot.
Yeah.
The one thing, once he hiked the ball, he was one of those guys, he's going to process what coverage we in, and he disciplined enough to go only to the weakness of their defense. All right, so it wasn't like he was trying to win individual battles, like let's say a pairing up me against Anquan and him. No, he's trying to go to where the defense can't stop his balls, and that's why he turned the ball over.
You think Kurt Warner's the best Cardinal? I know it's not mine, but not a question. But
the best Cardinal quarterback of all time?
Neil Lomax?
No, Lomax ain't better than Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner got him to the Super Bowl.
It would have to be Jake Plummer?
It ain't Jake Plummer either.
It's Kurt.
Kurt Warner is
Neil Lomax was a beast though, right?
Yeah, but you know,
okay.
Lomax jersey.
Yeah. Okay, you're right. Okay, what was the question?
Did they make a movie about Lomax?
I asked, how did you, like, what was the matchup like going against Kurt?
Yeah, Kurt. I seen him at the Rams and stuff, and he was good. He was a good player. I mean, smart is the one word description I would say about Kurt. To Smoot's point, I think he just knew where to go with the ball. He anticipated you couldn't trick him. So a lot of times on defense side of the ball, you see some quarterbacks and you think you can move around, show different disguises, different coverages. That guy couldn't be tricked.
No, he wasn't gonna be tricked.
Yeah. When we come back, we talking about this Week 4 matchup in Arizona.
Guys, let's switch it up a little bit. It's time to set the tone, brought to you by Johnson's Kendall Johnson, the official insurance broker and risk management partner of the Washington Commanders, where our passion is your protection. Week 4, Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
The Magical Man.
Yes.
Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
And the theme we want to talk about a little bit this week against the Cardinals is free agency. Mm-hmm. You know, when you think about setting the tone of some of the guys that we brought in, Frankie Laveau sticks out for me. I'm a big fan of that kid.
Yeah.
Armstrong.
Biotish.
Eckler.
Yeah.
Algrady.
Who's been killing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about impact in the newest Commanders and free agents. Tanner and I were
free agents.
Mm-hmm. You defected. We don't call you a free agent because you came back to where you started.
I just left home.
Tanner and I. So let's talk about the impact of free agents having on this team. Week 4, you got to see him over the first 3 weeks.
Yeah.
What you got, Tanner?
I talk about the guy who I feel like has been a great, I guess you can say, leader in that space, in that room on the offensive side is Austin Eckler. You know what I mean? I think what he brought to the running back room is, one, his ability to do some of the things he's able to do between the tackles and outside the pocket with catching the ball and stuff like that. His toughness. We watched this guy for years in San Diego, then his last year in L.A., and it seems to me that he's still the same guy. He hasn't missed a beat. And just not only just, from a player perspective, man, just who he can be to those guys. With B-Rob being the guy, at times, you can always rest assured that you got a guy over there who's a veteran, who's been through it, that B-Rob can lean on. And that's one of the things I asked him a few weeks ago about, what he brings to that room as a whole and teaching some young guys how to become a pro or be great pros. And so he's one of the first guys that jump out of my mind.
I'm going to go Tyler Biotish. Because I think what he's did is solidify the middle of the offensive line.
The line in period. They've been
it's
playing
just something
great.
about what Biotish done, because he already been in this NFC East. And I watched him battle Dexter Lawrence from the Giants, and I realized he's played against him, I think, 7 times or 6 times, and he's yet to give up a sack or pressure against that type of guy. Yeah. So when you're getting a new quarterback in here, having a center that can call the line calls, call the line stunts, put you in the where you should be at on the offensive line, I have to go him. And I think what he is doing, because we had a revolving door so long with the center position. And if you don't have that, to me, you don't have an offensive line. So I think what he's brought to this team can't even be counted with money. I just think what he's doing and the leadership that he's bringing, and also I had to give an honorable mention to Jeremy Chin, because not only did he walk into a defensive back room that he's the grandfather in, he's the oldest guy in there. I think he's taken a leadership, a verbal leadership in that back end, and has become the main communicator. So I also want to give him that as an honorable mention. Yeah.
So later on the show, we got Zach Ertz and Tanner, man. We talked about a tight end being a quarterback's best friend.
He's always a quarterback's best friend.
And this guy been in the league some time now. And we're going to get the chance to talk to him, but he's been impressive, man. I mean, what's your thoughts about what Zach
got a lot of gas in the tank? A lot more than I thought.
You know what we say is he's a guy that still has a lot of tread on his tires. And I think when you look at it, immediately when I knew we was getting a young quarterback in here to lead this team, that's the first thing you say, well, who's the tight end? Because you want to make sure that guy is solidified and has a track record that he can be that safety net. You know what I mean? That's first and foremost. I don't care who you are. You got to get that man's best friend, almost like that, that dog. That's his dog.
Well, explain that. When you say safety net, you mean somebody who can win, or when you need him, bail you out? What's the safety net? What that mean?
All the above.
Make it easy for the quarterback.
He going to make it easy. He's going to always find a way to be open, so the quarterback have to say, well, I don't see it on the outside.
Just right there.
I got this guy. And most of the time, you got to understand, you see this all the time with Kelsey out there in Kansas City. It don't matter how good those guys are at the tight end position. Defenses just don't have a man to stop these guys.
Too big for
you know what I'm saying?
And too big for safeties.
And so it's
fast for linebackers.
Yeah, so it's just odd to me that you have so much going on in these defensive coordinators' mind about stopping this particular or formation, but you lead the tight end one-on-one with somebody and say, beat him. Okay, I'm gonna beat him every time. So That's what Ertz brings to our team. I think he's a great safety net. He's a great leader. And he's a guy that, he's seen it all. He's done it all. So when you have a young quarterback, you can rest assured that you got a guy in the middle of the field.
He's also a coach on his team.
Yeah.
He's a coach on the field because he's been in his offense.
And I want to pivot to that because before we move on, I coach on the field, Bobby Wagner Smoot.
Yeah.
He's a Seattle guy, free agency, led the league in tackles the year before, and now he's here, coaching the field.
He's just a leader. Like, that's why I think we didn't even bring him up because they go without saying.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, this guy brings everything. When he walks in the locker room right now, whoever used to be the leader ain't the leader no more.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I'm gonna follow him because he's been the yellow brick road. He's won championships. He understands. So he just bring another level of expectations to everybody else.
Yeah.
And he's faced, and we play in Arizona.
Yeah, he's been in that division his whole career.
A short week.
Yeah.
The leader in the field.
Yeah.
We got to prepare for a short week, and we can talk about what's that like.
Yeah.
But now if he's seen Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
So what happens now?
Yeah.
Like, what advice does he talk about?
He's going to tell everybody how to stop him. All right, when you play against Kyler Murray, you want to keep him in the pocket. A sugar rush. You want to rush just enough up the field to cause confusion.
Sugar field rush?
Not sugar fields. But you woke up, but you're not going to go chase. You're not going to go chase him because we want him to stay in the pocket at 5'10".
Yeah.
We want him to have to throw.
So is that Bobby Wagner as a Mike, or is that you actually, because he's a small, fast guy, you get I
don't want him on the edges.
Are you going to spy him?
No, I don't need to spy him. I want him in the pocket.
But with all that said, I feel you. But it seems from the film I'm watching, every team has done that, and he still finds a way to get it done.
No, he's getting out the box.
That's what I was asking.
But that's why it's good to have a guy like Wagner who played against him at the Seahawks and the Rams.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, this guy has more repetition with him and understanding. It's ways to get things done.
Right.
But most of the time, his plays are either made after frame of the play call or when the play breaks down.
Gotcha.
All right, so now we need to be ready by that and be ready for that. And no, I don't want one person tracking him. I want the whole D-line tracking him.
Short week. Short week, right? So you need that Bobby Wagner.
Yeah.
Short week, you're a routine guy. You a hamstring, getting worked on.
Yeah.
Make sure you take care of your body.
Yeah, you know how we did.
What happens in the short week?
My guys will be already locked and loaded. A guy that I use from you. I tell you, like if I was playing right now today, I'd have had mail already on his flight. So by the time I touch back down, because you playing Monday night,
right.
and then you got to go right back to work on Tuesday.
Right.
You basically got to have a walkthrough on Tuesday. It ain't no getting no treatment. Nothing.
Right.
I have mail already at my house.
Right.
Late Monday night.
So there's no off day. So you're saying Tuesday is still work.
Tuesday's work. Tuesday is the day that I'm finna get everything that I normally get done on Mondays. I'm gonna get it done on Tuesdays with knowing that I still got to go out there and be productive in a little walkthrough. Because you got to get a walkthrough in on Tuesday. Because one is gonna take some of that information out your body. And then along with that, we got to go over stuff that we miscued on. You know what I mean? Things that you didn't do well. Coaches always want to get on the field and say, let's run through it, let's walk through it so we can see it again. So I have my guys lined up. I won't have a problem
from
with
a physical standpoint.
Yeah.
Smooth in the back end, man. Short week, Kyler Murray. You got some corrections from the Monday night game. Do you kind of let's kind of glance over those corrections, or are we straight into Arizona? What's the balance?
You got to correct. You got to self-correct, got to self-check.
But you only have so much time, though, right?
We can't dwell on it.
Yeah.
We got to get
So what would be the difference between a typical week and a short week?
We're going to get in here. We're going to find out what we did wrong because we're probably going to play these two quarterbacks different. One is a pocket passer who's going to be a surgeon in the pocket. One is a jitterbug that's going to try to get his way outside of the play and make plays. So now, let's just say we was a little bit more man-heavy going against a two-man heavy going against Joe Burrow. Now we're going to be a bit zone heavy going against a running quarterback. So all 11 is watching him as he try to make these plays. So it's two different quarterbacks. We got to play two different ways. And
that's hard. And that's hard in a short week, though.
Yeah, that's very hard in a short week because they're telling us we can't take a lot of what we did last week.
Yeah. Okay.
We're gonna do more installing than we are gonna actually practice.
Well, let me ask you this, because a big thing for me was we had each week as a defense, we had a special game plan. It's like, what you're talking about, we're going to stop this guy. Now you can only put so much in because it's a short week, right? Is what you're saying.
Keep
right?
it simple.
So you're going to keep it simple.
I'm going to keep it simple, and I'm going to have a couple designs in. Think about it. If we're going to play mostly zone, so all 11 can watch where Kyler Murray is. So they're going to mean if we do blitz, it's going to be zone blitzing.
Yeah.
All right, so this is what we're going to lean on. We're going to lean on everything looking like cover 2. Like, we're going to make everything look like cover 2 the whole week.
Would you still show him some of those formations where he don't have a really spot to throw it at, and still find a way to get somebody in there that he didn't expect? Like, you know what I mean? Because, normally if you say you're going to zone blitz, that I'm imagining you in some form of 2 and saying, okay, I got it.
3.
It could be a 3-2, but I'm saying most of the time for a guy like that, you want him. 3 giving him a little bit more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm saying as a receiver, you give him 3, he going to find somebody real quick. He can get a guy out the backfield right now.
Yeah.
And 2, you got a guy in the flat, you got a guy in them holes, you got guys deep. So it's like, who you sneak in a cover 2 setting that you can get in that mesh of guys that's
you might not sneak in, might bluff.
I can say I bluff. Like if we're gonna fire zone it, let's just say we're gonna run some fire zones. Usually in a fire zone, we'll drop a defensive end sometime and exchange him with speed. And when I say speed, I'm talking about either a nickel or a linebacker. Well, this week, because of Kyler Murray jitterbugness, I don't want to put that D lineman in space with him. So I'm gonna keep it tight and make that zone blitz and that fire blitz happen with the bigs. All right, so actually we're gonna do what we already do. We just gonna supplement and tell some people to do another job.
Gotcha.
So the team is going out to Arizona to spend a week out there.
I think one of the things that you find out about our league,
is it beneficial? Because some teams go out to the West Coast 2 days before.
We have no reason. We have no time to be thinking about if it's gonna work or not. You know what I mean? You got a job.
We gotta do it.
You know what I mean? Now we know what the answer might be for us. We might not like it, but I gotta go play ball. I gotta make this thing like home when I get there.
I would rather go to Arizona and Denver for the week than pop up on Friday. I want to be adjusted. I want everything to work, and I don't care about being in that all work, no play zone, being on the road.
But you mentioned Arizona and Denver. I know everybody know the altitude in Denver. Why Arizona? Why you saying that?
Well, I know it's an indoor game, but it's nothing like being in our environment is very high humidity. All right, so it's moisture in the air where we at. Well, when we go to Arizona, there's no moisture in the air, but your body gonna continue to try to pull that moisture out the air. It is a difference in that environment. Like we are a product in our environment, and their environment is a dry environment.
Give me an example when you did that. We used to do it all the time when I was in Seattle because we would fly. Play in Miami, and we'd have Tampa
and y'all would stay.
And we would stay, either go up to Carolina or something like that. So for me, I think it was easier going to the East Coast
than going to the
West Coast.
Yes, because the East Coast teams are prone to have, how should I say, places with all seasons, and we are very vegetative. It's different. Like when you go out there and it's dry, it's literally dry heat. Your body takes on dry heat differently, and they got that advantage on us.
Well, I would have thought that. I mean, the reason why you will come to the East Coast because now you're waking up much earlier than you are on the West Coast.
Your clock, your biological
clock.
For
us coming from the East going to the West, I was able to adapt in one night because I'm like, if I'm gonna wake up later.
So
I'm already up. You know what I mean?
But I get nervous. I like to get the game going.
But I'm saying if you coming from the West coming to the East, that's a drastic turnaround for you guys because y'all used to, that time frame.
Everything.
So I would have always thought that would have probably been one of the little handicaps for y'all. But I mean, to each his own.
Yeah, playing on the West Coast is a whole different animal. I think you're right. For me, being in Arizona, when we going out there early, I think I don't know if people understand how hot it is, even though I will say they're playing in the indoor.
It don't matter.
But
you get off that bus and walk into that building. People have to understand we are a product of our environment. And when we go to the environment.
But I like sleeping in my bed, So I'm torn.
You lazy.
Hey, you know how it is in that season, man. I mean, that bed.
You hate being in hotels, man.
I understand. Ain't nothing like a man.
I'm like 10. I had a routine
for you. Might as well sleep in it.
I had a routine during the week, man. I like to do what I do. See my family and all
that. Posturepedic. I had that Posturepedic with the remote, baby.
Well, hey, fellas, that's a wrap. When we come back, we're going to bring in our ice-cold player, Mr. Zach Ertz himself.
Ertz?
Welcome back to the Players Club. This is your Ice Cold Player, brought to you by Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Washington Commanders. With my guy, Zach Ertz, the man of the hour. What's good, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How you guys doing?
Good.
I'm good, man. Welcome back to the division.
Oh, yeah.
Right? This is the division you was born in.
Exactly.
And now you're in this division. How does it feel to look at it from a different view? Because you was looking at it from a Philadelphia view, and now you're looking at it from a Washington view.
Yeah, I mean, I've loved my time here. Obviously, this division is the best division in football.
I agree.
It's not even close in my opinion with the teams, the history that all the teams have in this division. So I'm happy to be back for sure. And I've loved my time here so far. It's obviously been a short amount of time, but I love the DMV area. My family loves it, and so it's been a lot of fun.
In a rivalry, right? So obviously Philly, you had a certain type of rivalry. Now Washington, we got a rivalry with the team in the South and different type of rivalries. What difference have you noticed?
Oh man, I mean, we only had one divisional game so far.
Yeah.
And it was intense. And the games did not. They weren't very different than when I was back in Philly.
Yeah.
They were intense. They're not always the prettiest of games.
Never.
And you just got to find a way to win. And if it takes 7 field goals, that's what it takes.
That's what it takes.
And so we just had to get it done.
And we got you to Washington. Obviously, we had a lot of respect for you. Come play for Coach Quinn.
Yeah.
What was the deciding factor to get you here, man?
Oh, man. After last year in Arizona was extremely difficult, physically, mentally, emotionally. And I kind of just took the last half of the season just to kind of take a reset and get back to 100% health and get back to myself. And I essentially trained for the past 9 months to do that. And I wanted the right opportunity. I didn't want to just go somewhere that, hey, you're going to just play a few plays, be an insurance policy. I wanted to go to a place that, one, believed in me. And Cliff Kingsbury is one of those guys that's always believed in me even before I was in Arizona. And a team that was going to have a lot of energy, play the football the right way, practice the right way. And I had heard nothing but amazing things about Coach Quinn, and he's far exceeded every expectation I had going into this thing. Just the way he demands of the players, how much energy him and his staff bring. I can't speak enough good things about my entire experience from ownership on down to the coaches to the support staff. It's been great.
Speaking of 12 years in the league, did you think you would be the leading receiver in week 2?
Oh, yeah.
Now, you just said I wanted it. I still want to be featured that way.
Yeah.
But did you think you'd still be the leading receiver in week 2? And then that catch on that sideline. Take us through that catch as that ball fluttered through the air. Because at first when I seen him let it go, I was like, oh, that looked like an easy play. But then I seen the DB come up, snatching the ball away from the DB. Take us through that play.
Yeah, I mean, first, talking about my expectations, I think for me, the way I approach the game, how hard I train, I feel like the last year and a half were tough because I didn't get the chance to showcase what I could do. And that wore on me a little bit for sure. And I still view myself as the same player that I was for the past 10 years. Last year kind of being the anomaly. And then when the ball went up last week in that game, like you said, I kind of thought I was wide open at first. I was like, oh, there's going to be catch and run, see what happens after the catch. And then at the last second, I kind of felt the guy on my back. And he kind of had the ball essentially
going down
to the ground. And I was just like, no, this is going to be mine. I got that new dad strength.
That old man said, it comes with 2 twins. You hold them both of them like that.
And so, yeah, it was awesome that Jaden gave me a chance. And so I was just able to make the play.
Thinking about that, so Coach Kingsbury give you an opportunity. A rookie quarterback, man. So a lot of veteran guys might be like, I don't know what I'm going to do with a rookie quarterback. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, when I was thinking about where I was going to be, one of the things that I did ask was, what is the quarterback situation here?
Yeah.
Because last year in Arizona without Kyler, it was extremely, extremely difficult to play with them. And so I didn't want that opportunity. But then again, when you draft the guy second overall, you expect he's going to have something to him.
Yeah, something to him,
And so Jaden has been phenomenal. I think he's going to be one of the best players in the league for a long time. And I do not say that lightly. And it's not really because
that's a big statement, man. That's a big
you played with some quarterbacks.
Because his physical traits are there, but it's his intangibles that are going to be able to really separate separate him. He's the first one in the building, the last one out. He works his butt off. He's one of the guys. He's not one of these quarterbacks that come in, they get drafted number 2 overall, or they have a Heisman that thinks they're kind of should be treated. That they should be treated differently than everyone else. He just wants to be one of the guys. The guys kind of gravitate towards him, and he's a phenomenal player. We got to get him to slide maybe a little more.
Where he got this drop, tuck, and roll that he doing.
But overall, I mean, he's been so fun to play with so far, and I think our chemistry has been great, and it's only going to get better the more we play together, the more we see certain coverages together, and so I've had a lot of fun so far.
You a 3-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champ, certified veteran in this league. I'm sure some of these young guys didn't pick your brain, ask you questions. I'm sure you offered a lot of questions. Could you give us some of the knowledge that you've traded with some of these young guys? Because we do have a very young roster.
Yeah, I think part of the leadership status per se is honestly just how you approach the day. It's not like I'm going to go in there and hold these rookies' hands and be like, you need to do X, Y, and Z. Yeah. It's more that the way I feel like I approach the game can rub off on everyone. The way I practice, the way I study film. I'm an open book. I've told the tight end since we first met in April or May, April when we first got out here, that hey, whatever you guys need, I'm here. But I'm also not their coach. So if you have a question, I'll be willing to answer it, no matter what, on the field, off the field. But I think the thing that I want, the kind of impact I want to have is the way I practice. I love practicing. I think it's the most important thing. I think it's at the forefront of how you play the game. And so the way my practice habits, I feel like, are things that I want people to resonate.
Yeah, I used to tell Smoot that all the time. He didn't practice well when we were teammates. Hey, Zach, seriously, man. Like, you talk about practice and all that, got energy, man. I had twins, brother. You got a lot of energy. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you very much.
With your twin boys, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Congratulations with that.
I have to ask both of y'all this. How does it work? Because I don't have a set of twins. Do you like hand your wife a baby and she hands you one back? Like, do y'all? Because I can only think with twins. Do you ever get a break?
Well, the mom is always the one that's better at comforting. Yeah. So the one that's crying always goes to mom, and you take the other one. and just don't mess it up.
Give me the quiet one.
Just don't mess it up.
And see, the unique thing about twins, the great things about twins is like, when you, especially twin boys, they're going to keep each other company.
Yeah.
And what you'll notice, even as babies, like, my boys would just like lay on top of each other. They right beside one drinks the other one. They're fraternal, but they're very close. Well, fraternal. And they one's bigger than the other one. Takes the other one's bottle. But the cool thing about that experience, man, is that bond that you see between two humans, brother. So, but that also means when one gets sick, the other one is going to get sick. Because it's all teething is rough.
Goes like the process comes in twos. So I could just take it as a parent that had, one child at a time. I was like, this can be a little bit overwhelming, especially during the season. Like, because I didn't get any sleep when I had that. And then I was like, I'm coming to work. I still got to have this energy. How do you manufacture doing your job at work and doing your job at home, that balance?
Yeah, I think we also
family,
a lot of help.
Grandmothers, granddad.
My wife is absolutely crushing it. We also have a 2-year-old boy, so it's not like we have. We started with the twins. We have a lot going on. We have 3 boys, 2 and under.
Congrats.
But we also understand this is a season of our life. And it's a phenomenal season of life. And we're so blessed to be able to have 3 healthy little boys. And I go home, and sometimes it's that 5 o'clock hour, and it's just chaos when I open the door. But at the same time, my wife has done like gone so far and beyond of what like I knew of her before, because she was like a phenomenal athlete. In her own right, and now seeing her in mom.
Congratulations, Olympian, soccer player, everything. Right?
So just to see her in this fashion of life, or this season of life for her, has just been amazing.
I got to ask you, which one weighs the most in the household? Your Super Bowl ring? Her Olympics win. Which one? Which one is
so
it?
She doesn't have. She has an Olympic bronze.
But I don't care. You're still in third.
It's rose gold in the Ertz house. But she's got 2 World Cups.
That's big time.
So she's and she was the best player in the world in my opinion for years. Best at her position for sure. And we met in college. She didn't know I played football. I didn't know she played soccer. So our relationship was built so far past athletics.
That's good.
Great.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it's fun.
But thanks, man, having a show. But we do have a tradition here of the Players Club, we asked all the players to sign the ball, man. Would you sign the ball?
Of course, yeah.
And Jonathan Allen, he signed the ball too big.
Of course he did.
So see if you can.
It would be John Allen, huh?
Yeah. Ashburn's finest, man.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome.
We appreciate
Thanks,
it,
brother.
Well, it was great having you on the show, man, and good luck going forward with the season. Like you rejuvenated with all the energy.
Oh yeah.
Despite having 3 kids under 2 years old in the house, I love that, and congratulations, man, on everything.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Appreciate
for your time.
All right.
Most definitely.